friends, welcome back to Food Prep Guide. If you missed a recent video, we announced that we are participating in the Pantry Challenge and giving you a kind of behind the scenes look at what goes into a Pantry Challenge. And one of the topics we said we would address is cooking with dehydrated foods, because that's something that we do towards the end of each month as our groceries are running out and we're not able to go to the grocery store until a certain date for the next month, and we have to make do with what we have. One of the ways that we do that is cooking and using our dehydrated preserves. So today's video, I'm going to be sharing our pantry version of pizza. So we absolutely love pizza. We feel like the pre-cooked for you is overpriced and not very healthy, and pizza overall isn't the healthiest dish, but it can be made much healthier when you make it from scratch. And for years, I thought that is a fresh cooking meal. It's not something that I can really make from my preserves, but this past year I really invested some time into playing around with dehydrated pizza toppings, and I mean, you know, mind blown. Like, now pizza is a pantry type meal and that I can use, I can work into my meal plan to save me some money. So each month when I'm making my meal plan, I will work in what I call free meals, which I have a category with free written at the top. And it doesn't mean that the meal is completely free, but it means I don't have to purchase anything from the grocery store in order to make that meal. We have either grown all the ingredients and preserved them to be able to cook that meal, or it's something that we might buy like 50 pounds of in bulk at Azure Standard once a year, and therefore I don't have to purchase it at the grocery store. And after tweaking and practicing and playing around with it, I have been able to put pizza in that category, with the exception of fresh cheese. One of my goals this year is to move away from cheese at the grocery store and purchase it from Azure Standard in a big block, shred it myself, and then freeze it. So that's one of the goals that I'm going to be working towards this year. And then at that point, it would be a free meal away from the grocery store. So I wanted to share with you a few of the dehydrated toppings that I find myself turning to again and again, but also some canned goods, some home canned preserves that we have been using on our pizza toppings. So first, let's just start at the very base, which is your pizza dough, right? Pizza dough is incredibly easy to make from scratch. We actually have a video showing you how to make pizza dough in bulk, so that you can this can become like a once a month chore, and that's kind of what we turned it into. Once a month, I will cook up enough crust to allow us to eat pizza every other Friday for about 2 months. So really, it's like a once every 2 months type thing. But it is very easy, and I will drop the link to this pizza dough recipe in the description box below. Ooh, I'm about to drop it. It's very slippery. Okay, so next is the sauce, right? So we use 2 to 3 different types of sauces. I forgot to get my home canned barbecue sauce out, but so first is just your traditional pizza sauce. This is just made from garden tomatoes, onions, peppers, seasonings, all of that yummy stuff. We do have a video where we made and canned this together on film, so I will drop the link to that one below as well if you want the recipe to this pizza sauce. But the second way we make pizza sauce is just barbecue sauce. We'll do like a barbecue chicken type pizza. So instead of your traditional tomato-based pasta sauce or pizza sauce, we will just put on barbecue sauce. The third option that we absolutely love is like an Alfredo cheese sauce, and that's something that we can make from our pantry with butter, flour, and milk, and then Parmesan cheese, and then just some seasoning: salt, pepper, garlic, onion, or garlic powder, onion powder, and then we have a delicious, easy, pantry-based Alfredo sauce that we didn't have to purchase from the store. The fourth sauce that we use most often, but normally happens in the summertime, is pesto. I make huge batches of pesto, and I try to fill my freezer with it enough for a year's supply, but I keep lacking on that. Like, I keep putting up what I think is going to be a year's supply, but apparently we use it more than I think we do, and so it doesn't usually last all the way until next year's basil harvest. But pesto is another delicious sauce that we use all the time. Okay, so now let's talk about your dehydrated sauce toppings, because it kind of goes with the sauce. So some foods really need to be dehydrated before placing them on your pizza, but some of them don't. And the ones that don't are like the freeze-dried foods you might purchase online, or if you have a freeze dryer, you might dry them at yourself. But the dehydrated foods using a traditional dehydrator typically do need to be rehydrated first, because they will remain hard if you don't. One way I like to rehydrate our dehydrated foods for pizza toppings is about an hour or 30 minutes to an hour before I am ready to actually make the pizza, I will put my sauce on a pot on the stovetop on low, and then I will drop my dehydrated foods into the sauce and let it cook in that sauce just for about 10 minutes. Turn the heat off, put the lid on, and then just let it sit on my counter for 30 minutes to an hour until I'm ready to make the pizza sauce. As I was talking about this pizza sauce, I just remembered a tip that has come to my rescue many times. Every now and then I get a can of pizza sauce that's a little bit too watery for our homemade pizza. It's not bad, it's not going to ruin it, but it's just a little bit too watery. We kind of like a thicker type pizza sauce. So if that's you, keep some tomato powder on hand, because what you can do is just sprinkle a tablespoon of tomato powder into your sauce and make it the perfect thickness for pizza. So just a tip for that. So let's talk about some dehydrated foods that we use the most often. Perhaps the most often would be our bell pepper and onion blend. I like to slice them long ways, dehydrate them or freeze dry them, and use them straight on my pizza toppings just like that. Another favorite is dehydrated mushrooms. I actually have started purchasing freeze-dried mushrooms because I find that the mushrooms at the grocery store don't go on sale enough to make it worth doing for me, and you can get a good deal on freeze-dried mushrooms a lot. There's one company, I believe it is Mother Earth Foods, maybe? I can't remember. I will do my best to find that and link it in the description box below. But freeze-dried mushrooms is another one that we turn to time and time again for pizza toppings. Another pizza topping is canned caramelized onions. This is a new to me recipe that I learned last year. I believe it was Whippoorwill Holler who I got this recipe from. Fantastic channel, and it is absolutely delicious. I usually use half of a pint jar. Next year I'm thinking about getting quarter pints so that I can do it that way, because I always find that I only use half and then the other half is just sitting on the fridge, and I will do my best to remember to put it in some kind of stew or soup or gumbo or something like that, but a lot of times I forget and they end up going bad. But caramelized canned onions, fantastic as a pizza topping. Next, let's see. Oh, okay, so the meat. So traditionally, what held me back from transitioning pizza into like a pantry meal was the meat. We always typically like sausage, and that's not something that I can store on my shelf, right? That's something I would need to stock in bulk and freeze, or in order to have it on hand anytime I need it. But this past year, I started kind of experimenting with canned chicken, and it's fantastic, especially on the barbecue chicken and the pesto veggie. Every now and then I'll add chicken to the pesto veggie. And of course my children love the Alfredo based pizza with chunked chicken on it. You just drain it out really well. Sometimes I'll pat it dry because it can have a little bit of extra moisture that could make the pizza dough soggy. So I'll drain it, pat it dry, and then just shred this chicken chunks. When you can chicken, if you haven't, it shreds, I mean, just with a fork in your fingers. It's not hard at all to get it nice and shredded onto your pizza, and you don't have to pre-cook it first. It's already cooked nice in your jar, and it will cook up just right in your oven while the pizza's cooking. So you don't have to pre-cook this first. And that's about it as far as dehydrated pizza toppings go. Last but not least, we do need to purchase cheese, and we absolutely love the 4-state cheddar cheese by Sargento. Sargento also has a mozzarella and provolone blend that we really like. But like I said, I'm really trying to work away from shredded cheese from the store. I'd really like to develop the habit of getting blocked cheese and shredding it myself. I understand that there are some fillers that keep cheese from clumping up in shredded cheese, and I would like to move away from that. But that's a budget thing. We need to save up for it, plan ahead for it, and that is a goal for this year. Okay, y'all, I hope that helps. If you want any of the recipes to the sauce and the pizza dough and things that we mentioned, the canned chicken, I think we have a video on canning chicken too. So all of those links will be down in the description box, and I think that's it. We'll see you next time. Bye.